So I just pre-ordered the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, which is supposed to be arriving on February 17. So I'm checking at their website and I see that they have available the s95c QDOLED, a gigantic 77-inch, and it's ready to ship in February 15, and they have a QDOLED gaming monitor. So what I want to do on this video is try to filter through the marketing they have on their website, and keep in mind this is one of the worst thing you can do. Basically, get excited about the product, read a bunch of marketing BS and pre-order the product without knowing if it's gonna work as intended. And yeah, especially with the track record of Samsung last year with that S95B and the firmware updates and all of that. But let's try to do the best we can. And on my case, I pre-ordered a phone because I need it. My phone broke. Like basically, I had a Google Pixel 3 and it broke. Like it's not turning on anymore. It's just terrible. And I've been suffering with a temporary iPhone 6, which sucks. So I need a phone, and you know, usually when you buy the latest and greatest, you should be getting the best, but that's not necessarily always the case. So let's take a look at what Samsung is telling us about this TV, and I'm gonna tell you what I think about it and if it's any good. Of course, this is good. Let's just take a look at the price. $4,500. Oh my goodness. It better be good, okay? But 77-inch, okay? This is a monster of a TV. So let's take a look at the specs. Let's try to be objective and not get too excited about it. Also, I have to say, in my experience pre-ordering the S23 Ultra, I am a little bit concerned because they took my money. So the money is out of my account the day I pre-ordered the phone with some accessories, and now the money is back to my account. And I didn't get any emails, so I am concerned that they didn't have enough in stock to fulfill the orders and they are refunding the money. Or maybe it's just the way it is. Maybe when you do the order, they are checking if you actually have the funds or something. But if the phone doesn't ship within 2 or 3 days, they have to legally return the money, because you're supposed to take the money once the device ships, and it hasn't shipped yet because it's pre-order. So I'm not sure how that works, but I am a little bit concerned because I need the phone. I cannot keep suffering an iPhone 6, which is, you know, very old phone. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. So let me know your experience if you pre-order one of these from Samsung, or maybe if you did it in the past. But I do have to say, for pre-ordering you do get some good stuff. Like they give you some free stuff and some discounts, and yeah, it is nice if you're gonna get it anyway. But I would still recommend you to watch some reviews. I did watch some reviews of the S23 Ultra. I know all the specs, and yeah, I need that 200 megapixel camera in my life. So yeah, let's take a look at what they have to say. So first of all, let's start by just talking in general about the QDOLEDs. So they are amazing, okay? Self-emissive technology, you get perfect blacks, especially on a dark room. But with the S95B, so the 2022 QDOLED from Samsung, I didn't like that TV on a bright room at all. Especially, you know, I saw the TV on Best Buy. It was terrible on a bright room, because not terrible, but I mean, it was not looking like an OLED display, because on a bright room the black level looks raised, and it is not the pixels not being black, so the pixels are off, but because of the screen coating or the polarizer or lack thereof, or whatever it is with the screen, it just lights up and it doesn't look black. It looks terrible. So I know they are supposed to improve that. They did improve that on this one with a better polarizer or something, and it is supposed to be better in that regard. But I would need to see it, and I play on a dark room all the time. but I still don't like to have that black level raised, because for example right now I don't have a black room right now, and I'm reading on my screen and it is black. Like, this is perfectly black, and it would not be black with that S95B. I know that 100%. So I don't like that part. But if you're in a dark room, that shouldn't matter. And they are supposed to improve that. But I really want to see that. So if I were to pull the trigger on this QDOLED, I have to go to the store and see how that black level is looking on a bright room. And I'm actually going to do that. Once they have it on the store, I'm gonna go there with my S23 Ultra, and I'm gonna take good recordings of that, of those TVs basically. And hopefully I can go to a different place that's not a store, that lets me play around with the settings with a remote, so I can test all the settings, especially the motion settings. So one thing that I like about this TV, from what I heard, is that this TV is going to have, the S95C is going to have the option to turn off dynamic tone mapping, which on the LG C1 it doesn't look good. It sucks, okay? So it's gonna be completely different on a Samsung TV, but it's still something dynamic. There's no accuracy, there's no consistency on the HDR experience. So luckily on this S95C, they are saying that you will be able to turn that off. So what does that mean? Does that mean that that's going to look like HGIG? It should, because that's what dynamic tone mapping off is. So when you do no tone mapping on the TV is supposed to follow the EOTF and hard clip at its actual peak brightness. So this TV might be hard clipping at 1500 nits. So it might be an HGIG with 1500 nits target, or maybe 2000. That's what I would like to know before pulling the trigger on this TV. What are the tone mapping options? Because if you get a TV like this, it's for HDR. You're interested in HDR, that's the best thing that this TV is going to do. So forget about SDR, that's just crap. Get an HDR TV for HDR content. So knowing the tone mapping options is the most important thing. Not that it is 30% brighter, that means nothing. That means nothing. So yeah, so let's take a look at the specs, what they are telling us. So yeah, 30% brighter, boosted, blah blah blah. This is nothing, there's no information here. So AI processing, powerful Dolby Atmos audio. Okay, so it has good audio. 100% color volume boosted by quantum dot. So yeah, the color gamut is better with this QD-OLED, so it is more colorful. So the thing is, if you are watching a content and you have the TV professionally calibrated and the content is not pushing for that wider color gamut, it doesn't matter. And in my experience with gaming specifically, most games are just, there's not a wider color gamut. Basically the colors are mostly within Rec 709. So you are on HDR, you have available that color gamut, but the game is not pushing that color gamut. So unless you crank up the color saturation or you use something like inaccurate settings, you're not going to see that wider color gamut difference. But it is there. If the content is calling for it and the TV is professionally calibrated, you will see, more colorful picture, which is great. And also it is more colorful because it is brighter too. Let's see what we can see from here. So beautiful colors, pure blacks, billion colors, 8 million pixels, of course a 4K. There's nothing new here. They are calling this adaptive gaming HDR10 plus. So it has HDR10 plus. So one interesting thing that I heard about HDR10 plus is that Nvidia with the drivers is working something out with this HDR10 plus. So there is a communication between the TV and the games. Now the problem is, what game is going to support that? So far I haven't seen any game that is telling that they are supporting that. So the idea is fantastic with HDR10 plus to have a communication between the TV and the game and windows and everything. So the tone mapping can be done perfectly. That's awesome. So that's something, but this is more like a promise. Okay, this is like, oh, RTX the first year. Okay, ray tracing, there's no game, so it's like a promise. So we don't know how this is going to pan out, but it might be a big deal. This might be a big deal, this HDR10 Plus. But let's keep so, you know, with Quantum HDR OLED, enjoy rich contrast enabled by the powerful processor that dynamically tone maps every scene. That's terrible. That's a bad idea, to dynamically tone map. That's not a good idea. It's not a good thing. There's no accuracy there. That's what makes the blacks look like, you know, on a dark scene, doesn't look as dark. It looks like, not black level rays necessarily, but it looks too bright for the darkness. So you want the darkness to be dark. You don't want anything dynamic changing there. But it depends on the processing. It depends on the algorithm, what they decide to do with each scene. But yeah, hopefully you can turn it off on this. But check the reviews for that. I'm not sure about that. You have to check the reviews. So let's see what else we have here. 4K upscaling for low resolution content. I think this is something very, very important, to have a good AI upscaling, because especially if you like sports, man, it sucks to have. Most sports are 720p 30 frames. Like, why? That makes no sense, man. No sense. Like 1080p 60 should be the bare minimum on today's technology. It's so easy. Like, why we still have, even, I'm not sure if you pay, like if you do a pay-per-view for a boxing match or something like that, because I don't do pay-per-views, but I'm not even sure if you pay for that and that's 30 frames per second at 720p, let me know, because that would be just insane. So yeah, sports, yeah, it is very important in my opinion to upscale that to 4K and to have a good motion settings, good motion clarity settings, to get interpolation, black film insertion, all of that, so we can see the sports in a much more fluid way. So this is sound, Dolby Atmos, and object tracking sound. So this is about sound. Okay, this is the thing that interested me the most about Samsung. This motion. So it is called Motion Xcelerator Turbo Pro. Hold on to your seats. Your high-speed games and movies are approaching peak performance with exceptional motion enhancements. Motion Xcelerator Turbo Pro creates consistently crisp 4K visuals at blazing fast speeds up to 120 Hz, and Game Motion Plus goes up to 144 Hz with compatible PC connected content. So I understand this is marketing, but this is not telling me exactly what's going on. So what do you mean by that? What I want to know is, can you make 30 FPS look like 144 when you connect that to a PC and 120 when you connect that to a console? Does that mean that this setting is going to give you 120 FPS out of 30 FPS? So if you're playing on a console, are you going to be able to see 120 frames on your screen so it looks more fluid? What about the input lag? I heard that the Samsung Motion Clarity is very good and it is available on game mode, and they are actually advertising that for gaming. So my question is that just motion interpolation? Is that just creating frames? Is there black frame insertion on top of that? I don't know. I want to know. I would be interested in knowing that. This is the most interesting feature that Samsung has, in my opinion, and I would like to go and test this myself. But I'm not gonna order a TV and then return it, because I'm not spending that kind of money. I don't need it, and I don't even have the space for that. So I would need to go somewhere or a friend's house or go to a store, and I mean they give me access to get a controller. I do have a friend on the store and I can do that, but the problem is my laptop, it cannot output HDMI 2.1. So I would need to go with my PC, and I'm not gonna do that, it's too much hassle. And then I have to speak with the manager of the store, because the problem is to connect the PC, they do not have an outlet. I already spoke with them. So I would need to get an extension, and that would need to be authorized by the manager, because the PC is using the electricity from the store. So if I had a laptop that was HDMI 2.1, no problem. I have somebody I know there. He will give me access to the controller, to the remote. I can connect the laptop and try it. So I will see what I can do. Maybe, yeah, I will see what I can do and try to see if I can test this without going with a laptop, maybe just with a remote and the content they have. And with my phone, with the S23 Ultra, I can take 960 frames per second videos, so I can see better, I can figure out better maybe what's going on with the motion clarity. So I will see what I can do. I am definitely interested in testing this. This is very, very, very cool. If it actually works, it will be amazing. Very, very cool. So yeah, so is it gonna work for 30, for 60 frames? For any frames? I don't know. How is that going to work? If we're gonna see artifacts, how about the input lag? Very interested in this feature. This is the most interesting feature in my opinion. So let's see what else we have. This is just game all day, just apps and stuff, the remote. Yeah, that's it. No information basically. Yeah, no information. This is nothing, man. Absolutely nothing. So you're supposed to read this. This is what I don't understand about these companies. I know that most people are not going to care about the details, but what they can do is have a page like this, which is basically nothing, just some pictures and marketing BS, and they can have an advanced page where they go in depth and they explain exactly all the features of the TV in detail, not this crap. Because if you are about to drop $4,500 on a 77-inch TV, you should know better than this. Let's see if they have more. See all specs. Okay. So here are the specs. See what we have. Screen size, HDR10, adaptive. Also, I expect, if they are advertising 144 Hz, I expect that the G-Sync FreeSync, no, it does. They don't have G-Sync, by the way. Let's check that. I think they have just FreeSync. So I expect that the variable refresh rate is going to work on a PC to up to 144, because on the S95B you were able to overclock the TV, but it didn't work with variable refresh rate up to 144. Basically, you just have to, you needed to have it locked, but it was not officially supported. On this one, it is going to be officially supported, so I definitely expect that to work. So let's see if we have G-Sync or if it's just VRR. Let's see where they say that. Let's see if we can see anything else here from the specs. Also, the good thing I like, so it has HLG support, of course. The good thing I like about the Samsung is that they do give you the option to turn off the dimming. The same as TPC and GSR on the LG OLEDs, they give you the option to turn that off. Which, if they didn't give me the option, it would be like a deal breaker. Like, I would never get a TV that doesn't give me the option to turn off the dimming. That's just a must for me. So we have HDIG, yes, so it supports HDIG. But I'm not sure if the last year TV was supporting the HDIG support in one of these TVs. I don't remember if it was the Samsung. It was not hard clipping at the peak brightness. It was doing tone mapping still for the highlights to be able to show more detail, something like that. It was not the same as the LG HGIG, but I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if it was Samsung, but one of these TVs they had that issue. Yeah, I don't see the specification of G-Sync or FreeSync, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't have a screen tearing, basically. That's what matters. So let me see, I don't want to make this video too long. We are 20 minutes already, so I'm gonna do a separate video for the monitor because this is too long already. Let me know if you have any questions.